Tirza? Okay, great.
Okay,
And
so
I love it. I love it. Of
look at
course,
this.
I love Houston. My son and daughter-in-law and my grandchildren are in Houston, and I love coming to Houston. Yes.
We love having you. Okay, so tell you what, I think we should probably start soon. So once again, I want to ask, I can mute you guys, but if you can mute yourselves, it's even better. And I want to also welcome a special welcome to this Michal's iPhone. Everyone see Michal? That's my wife. Welcome, wife. Michal's iPhone. There you go. Okay, so I really was hoping to have all the different rabbis represented, and I think they're coming on, or maybe they're on already. But again, we want to thank all our partners before we start, and that is Rabbi Zakon, Rabbi Nissel from Data of Plano in Dallas, Texas, as well as Rabbi Shlomo Abrams from the JLC, Jewish Learning Center of Dallas, Rabbi Fagenbaum from Eitz Chaim in Jacksonville, and the whole staff there, Rabbi Avraham Scheinberg of Rodfei Shalom in San Antonio. And I'd like to have Rabbi Karp himself introduce yourself, and please get on, Rabbi Karp. Thank you for joining us.
I actually go way back. I'm Naftali Karp from Providence. I remember when the Goetzes moved to Baltimore from Israel, they actually came to the Welcome Street in Baltimore to Glengyle. I remember that very well. Remember the on Surrey Drive, and we are a big fan of Mrs. Goetz's books and emails and shining countenance to the world. So thank you for coming on, and Shana Tova to everybody.
Shana Tova, we're so glad. Thank you for being a partner. So just a quick introduction for those who don't know, the wonderful Bracha Goetz, that we entitled this class From Harvard to Hashem, One Woman's Candid Journey in Judaism. And Bracha Goetz is not your typical Harvard graduate. Bracha will share her fascinating story about how she became inspired at Harvard, which transformed her life to inspire others in a captivating and unique way. Bracha's desire to share the beauty of Judaism with adults and children alike led to a career of writing Jewish children's books. She's not even halfway through yet. And she's already up to 41 incredible books, and we have many of them, including Hashem's Candy Store, which I mentioned for those in Houston. If you'd like a copy, just RSVP for the suggested $10 donation, and we're happy to give you a free copy of that. And again, we want to thank all our partners from Houston, Dallas, Providence, Jacksonville, and San Antonio. And just one last thing, as Bracha mentioned, I do have the merit of knowing Rabbi Benjamin Goetz, who lives right here, and his wonderful wife, Avital. And sometimes you meet people who are so special, so warm, so friendly, so energetic, and you're like, are you for real? Are you a for real person? Like, you must be fake. You're so nice. You're too good. And then you meet Bracha Goetz, and you realize they're not fake. This is who they are. This is their upbringing. They have such a wonderful mom and a caring mother, and it makes so much sense. So without further ado, everyone, round of applause for Bracha Goetz, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that's here. I really appreciate you being here, or else I'd just be talking to my computer screen. And thank you so much. So every single one of us is on a journey of personal growth. That's why we're here. And I have this saying on my fridge. Here's a test to find out if your mission in life is complete. If you're alive, it isn't. We are all here because we've got missions to complete. So I'm going to take you with me, reliving 8 steps along the way of my own personal journey in Judaism. And please feel free at the end or in the middle, however it suits you. If something resonates with you, let me know, or let me know if you have questions about anything I'm saying. I love it. Okay, so here's the beginning of the journey. And the only thing different about my journey and your journey is that mine is told in rhyme. Okay, so scene 1 opens up at a garden party when I was a student at Harvard. This is called Meeting God at a Garden Party. It was May, and it was beautiful. A perfect garden party day. Harvard University, now light years away, pinnacle of achievement, peak of the mountain ranges, garden party at a final club among exclusive strangers, Rockefellers, Moynahans, of course, the Kennedys, elite, prestigious, powerful celebrities. And me, what was I doing there? Really wished I knew. Never would have been invited if they'd known I was a Jew. It was what I'd always wanted, to be within this crowd, way up there at that airy spot where no Jews are allowed. I tried to take it all in. So thrilled was I to be mingling in blonde and preppy high society. Wondering what they talk about, mostly heard ice cubes clinking, light laughter, heads thrown back. I was afraid of blinking. In small groups, they were chatting, but their eyes would still roam. They too looked for something else. I felt so far from home. Everyone was tan and thin, the lawn was manicured. Nobody had that much to say. Truth is, they all seemed bored. And then the best part happened. Right there on that spot, the sky filled up with storm clouds, and I felt the first drop. The rain came pouring down. Everything flopped, even the elegant table spread. Yes, that too got sopped. Poise tossed, they all dashed frantic. Let's natural hairdos melt. It was one big soggy mess. And how do you think I felt? More thrilled than ever, ever. Not one trace of a frown. They had no power to even stop the rain from coming down. I went skipping back to the dorms, jumping in puddles too. There was something still higher. I had proof it was true. There had been nothing up there where I had striven to be. On the highest peak of the greatest pike, there was nothing to see. That day had been a turning point. It was even clear back then. I met God at a garden party, then again and again and again. Okay, now, scene 2 opens up when I'm spending time with my boyfriend in Harvard, when I was at Harvard, and he was Catholic. It's called A Hellenist Left Standing. It was the 25th of December, and when she closes her eyes, she remembers just how it was. A Jewish girl from Queens had fulfilled her secret dreams, decorating that bright, forbidden tree. A Jewish girl from Queens had fulfilled her secret dreams. She helped hang tinsel merrily. Her boyfriend's family was friendly as could be. They had fun watching her delight. Her boyfriend's family was friendly as could be. By the fireplace, they sang carols that night. Then they piled into the car. It wasn't very far. Greetings called to those they'd pass. They piled into the car. It wasn't very far. Each year, the family went to midnight mass. But there, in a church pew, she didn't know what to do, as everyone else bent down to kneel. There in a church pew, she didn't know what to do. In those moments, was her future sealed? Alone, Trembling she stood, still uncertain if she should. What stopped her from kneeling in that place? Alone, trembling she stood, still uncertain if she should. The word Jew was stamped on her face. The 25th makes her remember because it's Kislev, not December. She almost fell like Hellenists of old. The 25th makes her remember because it's Kislev, not December. Once she too chose tinsel, not the gold. So radiant, hidden away, a golden light, still pure today. Her Jewish home shines with treasures she didn't know. For now, many years have passed. Each Hanukkah spins by so fast. And as grandchildren light, my past becomes less real. For now, many years have passed. Each Hanukkah spins by so fast. Standing by lights, I whisper thanks, I didn't kneel. So after I graduated from Harvard, I went on to medical school and I was studying to be a psychiatrist. And I wanted to help people live fulfilling lives, but I had no idea what the purpose of life was. So I wrote to a friend in Israel and I wrote to him and I said, you know, I really want to know for my patients, like, why is life worth living? People are going to want to know this. And what do I tell them? And he said, don't worry about your patients. You need to know the purpose of life, why life is worth living. So when you come to Israel, I'll take you to some schools and you can learn about it. The interesting thing, I had a 6-week break between my first and second year of medical school. And my parents, basically, they said, that's great, go to Israel, but just don't connect with this one guy who became a religious fanatic. You know, that was who I right away connected with. So he took me to these schools where as an adult beginner, I began to learn about my heritage, which I did not know about. I had no idea about the spiritual wisdom that was found in Judaism. This is about when I began to study there that summer. It's called To the Rabbi's Wife. It's actually a song, but I'm not going to sing it tonight. A lot of my poems are songs, but I will recite it. Just what did you do? I bet you never knew. How did you do more than anyone before? Well, we walked for hours on that cloudy day. You let me spill out thoughts I could never say, winding on and on through all the narrow streets. Yerushalayim's hills carried our feet. A cynic, scared to feel, can't believe God is real. I'm fine, I'm A-okay. Then nervous laughter gave me away. I had many questions that no one ever heard. People didn't ask such things. They'd think I was absurd, but you were listening to me. So I began to talk. I first used my real voice on that long, long walk. Just what did you do? It wasn't what you said. You did not tell me. You let me tell myself instead. Brought up to the surface, my doubts didn't seem so black. After I had let them out, I didn't ever want them back. Step by step, as our shoes touched the ancient dust, a new vista was becoming clear. In God, I could start to trust. I never thanked you all these years, but now I've got the chance. You took the time to let me think, and that's made all the difference. You really listened. That's what's hard. You didn't let me just go by. You held the sky. I spread my wings, cocoon to butterfly. So there were some struggles as I learned about Judaism. And one of them was that I didn't come with any of the clothes that were appropriate for me to wear to these classes. Halter top and shorts. And I wasn't like, I didn't have the clothes that people were wearing, but they had like these free exchange thing where I could find different clothes to wear and that I could attend the classes with everybody else. So this is called Fragile Wings. Where was the freedom promised? Where was the open sky? Come on and meet the prisoner who thought that she could fly. Religious girls in summer, blouses buttoned high. I'd see long skirts with stockings as I would pass them by. I'd laugh inside me mocking the girls I used to see. Those girls are missing so much. How trapped could people be? But how could I have known then, jogging through summer rain, I strode past them uncovered in years before the pain. Those girls kept their wings hidden, and my own wings got crushed. Why did I jump too quickly? Why was my childhood rushed? Crystalline wings they treasured, even at that young age. My wings, I learned, were fragile when I hid bars inside a cage. My wings have long been broken. Can they still be healed? Those girls now fly past rainbows. Tell me, how does it feel? Inside, I'm thrashing lamely. Can I get free? Now that I see the picture, reversed ironically. Where was the freedom promised? Where was the open sky? Here I am, meet the prisoner who thought that she could fly. Okay, I just want to ask if anybody has any questions up to this point or wants to make a comment, let me know. Otherwise, we're moving on to scene 5, which is another one of my struggles. It's called the women's section.
Anyone have any questions for Bracha? You can unmute yourself.
Oh, okay, yes, Lita.
Okay.
Yeah, so what happens to your parents that told you now that you could go just for 5 weeks? This is longer than 5 weeks, right?
Exactly. What happened was, great question. I was going to say that in the next part, but here goes. I ended up taking a year's leave of absence because I didn't want to leave from medical school. I ended up not returning to medical school. I ended up coming back 10 years later with my husband and 5 children. So, so things went really differently. I really wanted an immersion. That's not for everybody, but for me, I wanted that in my life. I wanted to immerse myself in this amazing life. So we ended up founding a settlement in Judea, in the Judean hills. We had like a very exciting 10 years in Israel before I returned to the United States when my parents weren't well. My parents would come and visit at least once a year, and when they weren't able to come anymore, when they weren't well, we moved back. So I'm going to, but that was a little bit of, I got a little ahead of myself, but I'm happy that you asked. And now I'm okay. I'm going to go back. Any other questions right now?
Yes, I just want to introduce an incredible son of yours who just joined, Rabbi Goetz. Rabbi Goetz, where are you? Anyway.
I think he's in the other screen.
Okay. Okay, but anyway, keep going.
Okay, great. So, and he's
What a privilege to be here.
Rabbi Goetz was my only son born in America when I came back. He was not one of the 5 born in Israel. Yeah, but he's still an Israeli because we're Israelis, so he is also. Hi there. Okay, Benjamin is my youngest son. Yep, thank God. So, I mean Rabbi Goetz. Whoops, I meant Rabbi Goetz. Yes. Okay, so now I will go on to, if I may, the women's section. Okay. A curtain separates. What does that demonstrate? We're second-rate Jews. A curtain separates. Who says men can dictate? I'll sit just where I choose. In the back of the synagogue, they make us pray. In the back, in the back, in the back, they say. In the back of the synagogue, they make us pray. Wake up, old men. It's a new day. Women have equal status now. Hold tight to your kippas, you who don't allow women to even sit with you. Wake up, old men. Try something new. A curtain separates. Can I appreciate this quaint experience? Okay, I'll take a seat and see just how it feels for a woman like me. In the back, in the back, in the back I'll be. But I wish I could have picked this independently. It's not so bad to be without the men. It's not that same old scene again. There are less distractions, no chemistry. There's no man to flirt with or inhibit me. A curtain separates. But does that demonstrate we're second-rate Jews? A curtain separates. Now I can concentrate, sing out the way I choose. I look for stifled women, but I'm the only one. The others know the secret, though I have just begun to sense the hidden power of each woman in this room. Her prayers come from the deepest place. They pour out from her womb. Women don't have to pray in shul. Each connects to God alone. The power of her still small voice can reach God on its own. A curtain separates, but it's the men it isolates from the power when women pray. A curtain separates. The power from the back could just blow them away. Okay. And now, so what happened is I met my husband and I met him in a sukkah. And the sukkah turned into a chuppah, not right then and there, but that's what happened. So my parents, there was an engagement party before. They were not there yet, but somebody at my engagement party dressed up as my mother and someone pretended to be me. And the person who was my mother said, "We wanted you to marry someone Jewish, but this is ridiculous." Okay, so it wasn't what they had in mind, but okay. So here we go. We're up to scene 6 here, getting together. The morning light shines on your face. I listen to you snore, wondering how I married you 11 years before. I didn't know what you were really like. It baffles me today how I agreed to be your wife, tossing my doubts away. Marriage, the point where stories end. It meant the show was through. Up till they wed is the exciting part. After that, what could be new? Remembering how I questioned, is marriage really made above? Remembering how I prayed to know which strings must be pulled for love. You were nothing like others before. Whatever drew us near? I've just begun to understand for the first time this year. You took me with all my baggage. Did you see deeper or not? But one who sees all saw potential, not just a little, a lot. It's true, the show is over now. We're too close to pretend. Thank God the show is over, but the real stuff doesn't end. Marriage, they've got it backwards. How could it be portrayed as a bore? What's more exciting than lifting our veils? Each struggle binds us more and more. Every day we begin, then begin again to discover how to love. Invisible strings are being pulled down here and up above. I see you now in morning light. This rare, rare glimpse I catch. At last, I'm waking up to find we're becoming a perfect match. Okay, and now 2 more scenes left, guys, if you're still hanging with me here. Another struggle was about raising young children. Okay, here we go. This is called Wonder Woman. My whole life, I've been waiting for applause. Neon lights, autographs, Nobel Prize. My whole life, I've been waiting for applause. When it comes, I act coy and surprised. Secretly, I've waited, always wanting to believe that the applause would never stop after I'd achieve. Secretly, I've waited, always wanting to believe. What an elusive tapestry a mixed up mind can weave. I worked hard so that I could reach the top, a Harvard grad with A's on every test. I worked hard so that I could reach the top. The world would know, it would show I was best. So why'd it always happen? I could not convince myself. Awards just made a hollow sound when placed upon the shelf. And why did it always happen that the praises stopped so fast? Isn't there a goal to reach where my glory will last? Then one day, I got tired of this game. Wonder Girl, though you've won, what's it worth? Then one day, I got tired of this game, craving more. Is it found here on earth? Well, it has not been easy putting old wishes aside. While washing piles of dishes, my hands burn with swallowed pride. No, it has not been easy putting old wishes aside. Though I have little children now, the old dreams never died. This afternoon, it was raining very hard. My little ones were getting bored, nowhere to go. This afternoon, it was raining very hard. I decided to put on a puppet show. Lining up their kiddie chairs, they sat there in a row. I peeked out at them a moment and their faces were aglow. Lining up their kiddie chairs, they sat there in a row. Their eyes were full of wonder as they watched my puppet show. My whole life, I've been waiting for applause. Well, it came, and it's true. It was great. My whole life, I waited for this applause. Their little hands, clapping for joy, were worth the wait. And suddenly, I realized that here within these walls, I did something much greater than in all the lecture halls. Suddenly, I realized this glory does not leave. Strand by strand, elusive tapestries are starting to unweave. And now, the last scene, between the braids. My final struggle, housework. Here we go. What's in the spaces between the braids? of these new challahs I just made. How much of me is hidden there? Between the braids, my thoughts appear. First, I sifted the flour through, thinking of what else I could do. Who wants to be here baking bread? I could write my first book instead. I added each ingredient and wondered why my soul was sent. I cracked 2 eggs and then 2 more. Is this what I was created for? Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh, my lips whisper, hands knead the dough. Let me see my work is holy, raising high what seems so low. Does the challah absorb frustration? Does the challah hear my voice so shrill? Does the challah absorb my confusion as it rises for hours on the windowsill? I've heard that Sarah, our first mother, once had the right recipe. What happened to it through the years? Is there a copy left for me? Stuck here in the kitchen and still longing for fame, when did simple giving get such a bad name? Shabbos Kodesh, Shabbos Kodesh. Open up my eyes. Let me see my work is holy. Let me stop chasing lies. On Friday night, my husband makes a blessing, and I know just what's inside those challahs, though I wouldn't tell him so. He cuts them up, we eat them, and I can't help but smile. For all that work, I used to think, they last such a short while. But this time, I see what's left. I know what's hidden there. In the empty spaces between the braids, that's where my thoughts appear. When every crumb has vanished from the challahs that I made, what will remain? Just my secret struggles offered up between the braids. Okay, guys, that's it. So I would love to hear anything that you resonate with, any questions you have, anything you learned from what I just shared. I really, raise your hand. Or if Rabbi Jackman would like, or Rabbi Karp would like to call on people, I would love it. Thank you.
So let me ask you a question. First of all, thank you so much, everybody. Wow, we have this on recording. It was hard to follow. This is like harder than a toy store. It's like, oh, whoa, I gotta see commentary. Rabbi Goetz, your mom is deep. Whoa, Harvard, I can tell. But my question is, how did you get specifically into children's books? You got into children's books out of all these, this deep, you could write novels for adults as well.
Children, because I write the books that I wished I had as a child. I'm writing to the me I used to be. I started searching when I was 12, but had I known in the years before, there's a lot of pain I would have not had to have gone through in my life, things I wouldn't have had to have been exposed to. And my soul could have been shining a lot earlier and not experienced a lot of what I went through. And by the way, yeah, I'm going to mention that my memoir, it tells the story of, it actually documents it because it goes through my diaries, my journals, my letters, the whole process of actually developing food addictions and then healing from food addictions through the process of nourishing my hungry soul, because I literally was starving for nourishment, for spiritual nourishment. That's what the book is about. So children, I like to write. I like to take the deepest concepts and explain them in the most simple and joyful way possible. That's my joy in life. And that's just that's what my essence loves to do in this world. Yeah, help children's souls to shine.
I just want to say, for those who haven't read Bracha Goetz's books, you should know they're great for adults too. Yeah, oh yes, that this is true. I tell my kids, as if I know, but They're really fantastic. Sometimes you learn the most from children's books, and especially yours. So, but I would like to open the floor. Anyone else have a question for Mrs. Goetz? Anything? Anything?
I
Just unmute
hope
yourself.
somebody wants to say something.
I loved it. I'm enjoying. I want to hear more.
Oh, that's Lita. Thank you, Lita, so much.
I want to hear more. It's so exciting. And you have such a clarity, the way you put the words. It's so like I want to hear more. It's such a pleasure to see how you're able to put the concept in the right words in a beautiful, harmonious sequence of words. And it just goes in the neshama. It's good.
Thank you so deeply. I really appreciate it. And if you want to read more, my poems are in here too. And you don't have to buy the book. I just want to tell you that you can, your libraries, public libraries, order the books too. And that's also great. That's other ways to get the books. The point is to get the messages out into the world. Some of my books are not only for Jewish children, they have universal messages. I speak to Jewish and non-Jewish audiences because there are so many messages of Judaism that are universal. The essence of being a Jew, maybe I'll come back and talk about this another time. The essence of being a Jew is being a person of gratitude. That's what we're all about. So that's a universal message for the entire world that we have, and that we could be a light, sharing how we experience gratitude throughout our day as Jewish people. Yes.
Beautiful.
I can identify with a lot about what you're saying. I was brought up as an ultra-reformed Jew and really know very little about my Jewish history. But from being at YTE and knowing your son, I have learned a great deal. I actually have read your book.
Oh, wonderful.
I read your book so I could understand some of your search to help me with my own search.
Thank you, Eileen, so much. I deeply appreciate it. Really, it warms my heart when I feel that I'm touching other souls. I love it. Thank you so very deeply. And may your searching continue in a joyful way. Yeah, and may everybody, you know why we say be blessed, may you be blessed with a good and sweet new year. Everything that happens to us is good, but it doesn't always feel good. And like the honey that comes from a bee, it comes from a bee sting, and yet it brings us sweetness. Sweetness emanates from even the bitter experiences that we have in life, the difficult things that sting us as well. They also, so we're hoping that they could be sweet. We're hoping that we could learn in a sweet way, but knowing that everything is good for us, even, and ultimately we'll see that, but may we feel it in a sweet way as it's happening as well. May we feel the sweetness of everything that happens to us, even those things that may seem difficult. May we extract the sweetness from them as well. Yes.
I know Leah wants to ask a question before. I just want to mention that just as you know, Bracha is so humble that I remember it was so hard for me. I was like, can I get a bio? Like she was didn't want to give me a bio, just like the very modest. So like this, so too with her books. I know Rabbi Goetz sells the books. You can actually, Rabbi Goetz you plug on chat with everyone and let them know where they can purchase one of Bracha's books. I know that I don't like taking stuff from libraries so much. A lot of times we lose them. We end up paying more at the library than buying the books. But also, like I mentioned, we do have, if you want to sign up, if you're here in Houston, we do have one of her books, Hashem's Candy Store. And for the $10 suggested donation, we're happy to give you one. Okay, Leah has a question.
Hi, thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, I just wanted to ask you, in terms of like integrating everything, like what was the time frame that your story took place? And in terms of your religious journey, like how long did it take you to really like integrate and make that decision? Okay, this makes sense. It's different for everybody, but I'm just curious, knowing you thank God being able to know you for the time I have. I'm just curious about that now, listening to your story.
It's a fantastic question. Everybody has a different timetable. For me, the strangest thing happened. I was studying other religions, Buddhism, Christian Science, and I found elements of truth in other religions. But when I came to my first Torah class, it was the most amazing experience. I didn't even understand all the words because some words were in Hebrew. And yet I was drawing pictures in the class. I love to draw. I drew a creature jumping off of the world screaming, yay. I felt like this is what I've been looking for. I don't even understand all the words, but I understand the people in this class. They're all like really good people. They're not like cynical people that I've been hanging around with a lot. And the teachers are like really good, idealistic people. I related to all the people, and the words of Torah that I understood, they went right into my soul, like immediately. So I didn't overnight change, but it was really pretty quick that I moved out of the dorms at Hadassah Hospital where I was volunteering, and I moved into the dorms of the school because I wanted to be a part of it. So within weeks I did that. And then, within months, I knew this is really what I wanted in my life. Yet
Beautiful.
I felt though, if I went back to my old environment, I felt that I may not be able to keep the truths as a part of my life. So I wanted to stay where I was to solidify my learning. So that's really what happened. That's not the path for everyone, but yeah.
Sure. Was that the immersion experience you were referring to?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
So much. Did Rabbi Karp have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you could share a little bit. I don't know about in the South, but in the Northeast, there's a number of your poems touched on working through not feeling like a second-class citizen. So I just I guess how long did it take you? Because for some people that takes a long time. And I guess, was there something specific that made you not feel like that? Because you certainly said what made you feel like a second-class citizen.
I can tell you that I still feel that way in certain synagogues. I feel that the architecture is really important, and that women should not feel closed out. I think it's essential. And I know that in the Beis Hamikdash, in the Holy Temple, women are in the balcony where they could see what's happening. I think it's like really important that synagogues be designed in such a way, especially with the Western mentality. But I see that since that's how the Beis Hamikdash, our holy temple, is designed, that's really ideal, that women should be able to look in and see the Torah and see. I think being separate is awesome, but I think being able to have clear vision of what's happening is also essential. This is something that I just think it's a very important thing, so that women don't feel like they're pushed to the back and they can't see what's going on. I'm very much a believer in, when I see something that I don't think is a good idea, to speak out and try to make changes. And that's why, I wrote the book about healthy eating, because I think it's really important that, especially as people observing the Torah, that we keep our bodies healthy. This is really important. And like junk food is like way too much a part of, I feel, our lifestyle. I think this is all part of so I spoke about that, and I spoke about abuse, prevention of abuse of children when I felt that was necessary. As a Baal Tshuva, a person can see things, and when you see things and you're not afraid of rocking the status quo, when you see how you can improve things and to get things back to a pure place of the Torah's teaching. Sometimes things go a little bit off course, and as Baal Tshuvas or Gerim can sometimes, seeing from the outside, can bring in things like that. So I think the way a synagogue is set up is really, really important, so that women don't feel that way.
For those that don't know, Baal Tshuva is someone who returned to Judaism, came more observant later in life, and a ger is someone who converted to Judaism. We also have a question here on the chat, and the question is, or it's more like a comment, was the turning point to look more into Judaism when you did not kneel at church? Was that the aha moment?
Well, it wasn't such, I would say the garden party was more of an aha moment for me in recognizing that what I was striving for, it was like a mirage. There was nothing to it. I remember when I was at Harvard, I met with Caroline Kennedy. She was there in my dorm. She used to ask me questions about Judaism. She was fascinated by Judaism. It was really interesting. I was like, it wasn't that being in the church made me feel like I was different. I was very aware of my difference. I can't exactly say that it was an aha moment because it took many more years after that, not many years, but it was a few years later until I discovered the treasures of my own heritage, which I didn't know about. So at that point, things like Xmas looked really still more exciting to me than my own heritage. It made me feel like I was different, but I didn't know what I had that was wonderful at that time in my life. It wasn't until later that I got to learn that.
Wonderful. Looks like Hannah Levitt has a question. You can unmute yourself.
It's actually her mama, but that's okay. I wanted to thank you for your wonderful prose. I'm actually very happy that you sort of gave voice to the emptiness of the feminist movement and what that meant, you know what I'm saying, all these years. And I'm younger than you are, but still in all, you know, we're all sort of seeing the damage that's been inflicted on women through the women's movement and the ideas of that. So I'm glad that, you know, you're able to sort of give voice to that. But how has that affected your kids? Like, have you raised them, you know, how do you discuss that with your girls?
Yeah, and those are big struggles in my life because those ideas were an essential part of me. You know, they were put into me. Those were my biggest struggles, which came out in my poetry. You know, being out in the limelight versus what you can accomplish without that. This is a huge struggle of the still small voice and what we could do, you know, and what we accomplished behind the scenes. And that not getting enough value, and the value of being a mother, how that's devalued in our society today. You could hear it from my children, but that's really where I devoted my intelligence and creativity for all their formative years. I feel like nobody else is going to care about my children like I do. So not everybody, but that's what I wanted to do with my life. I don't know. Rabbi Goetz, do you want to say anything? I don't know.
Thank you, mommy,
I also want to introduce Reb Aryeh,
for doing
the
that.
husband.
Definitely, thank you
The
so much. You
husband
definitely
joined.
created Abba and my parents definitely created a very happy home, a home where there was definitely struggles,
Frozen.
but the positive was focused on. For an example was these Brussels sprouts. Here we have Brussels sprouts. We're at home. I can't even go to school right now. And I did a Zoom class with my first grade boys, and I read some of this book. We're at home, so we could focus on all the negativity. But something my parents instilled in us is to focus on the positivity. Even in a Brussels, they're cute after all, like it says in the happiness box. So today we cleaned off the bugs from our Brussels sprouts that are healthy as well. And basically, I think to sum it up, my parents, especially my mother, but both my father and my mother, realize that they have a body that houses their soul. Their soul is the focus, and whatever, and as a part of that, that's what they're trying to make people aware of, they themselves aware of. And regarding the last question, children get affected from this. And I mean, we had some deep discussions. We were very focused on our soul, especially around the Shabbos tables that my father ran. It was always focused on the neshama and the soul, very open conversations. And we would discuss these things. And it was very open. It was always ones of conversations about different struggles and different things. And thank you, Rabbi Jackson, for setting this up. It was such a privilege
Thank you.
Absolutely, my
to be a
pleasure.
part of this.
I'm
And
sorry we're
every
not
time I
getting
read,
Rabbi.
whether it's kid books or her poems, I always learn more about my own parents. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if it was choppy. Thank you, Rabbi Jackson, Abba, Imam, Bubby, and Zadie. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you so much. I want to say there was a wonderful question someone put in the chat. What about if you don't have children? A woman's value without having children. The fruit that we bring into the world are our mitzvahs. You know, for some people it's their children, but for all of us, it's our mitzvahs that are the fruit that we leave in this world, that we bring into this world. And the fruit all have seeds in them, and the fruit keep bringing more and more mitzvahs. Some women are blessed with children, some are not blessed with children. We all can do mitzvahs, every single one of us, and that's the fruit that we're here to bring into this world.
Amazing. So once again, I want to thank Mrs. Goetz. Thank you so much. Please stay tuned we have future classes. We have a lady who's going to talk from Columbia to the Almighty. We have from Stanford to the Melech. No, I'm joking. I'm just trying to make it fun. Okay, but once again, I want to thank our wonderful partners, Rabbi Zakon, Rabbi Nissel of Data Plano, Rabbi Avram Scheinberg from Rodvei Shalom in San Antonio, Rabbi Shlomo Abrams from JLC Dallas, Rabbi Feigenbaum, Eitz Chaim Jacksonville, of Noach, and Rabbi Naftali Karp, of course, from, oh, you know what? Right now, Eitz Chaim's actually joining us right now. We just give him a little cameo before you guys leave. Let's just say, welcome, Eitz Chaim. Where are you, Eitz Chaim? I saw you just came on. Just introduce yourself, and there he is. Is that Rabbi Feigenbaum? Okay, he's coming on, but we really appreciate that, these lessons. And once again, it is recorded, so if anyone wants to catch the recording or share it with somebody else, by all means, just reach out to me. I will send that link as soon as I have it. But we're still waiting just for Eitz Chaim. If you want to just say hello real quick before we let you guys go. But I do want to wish you everyone a Shana Tova, Ksivas Tova. You're written and sealed in the book of life for a wonderful year. Rabbi Karp, you had something to say?
I would just say Yasher Koach to Rabbi Jacqueline for organizing, and thank you, Mrs. Goetz. Yasher Koach, Shana Tova, everybody.
Shana
Shana
Tova,
Tova.
Shana
It was
Tova.
very nice. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I
Thank
think
you.
I'm going to the
Bracha,
poetry.
bracha,
Wow,
very-
she's amazing. This is amazing.
If you would like to tap in,
Oh, Eitz Chaim, come on and say hello. It's at the end of the class, but just say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Can we see? There you are. Rabbi Feigenbaum. Okay, it was a wonderful class, and we had about 3,000 people. I mean, I know you're coming towards the end, so but we had I had to like.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't get on earlier with Mincha Marv and some other things, but I'm sure it was a wonderful class.
Wonderful. We have some Jacksonville represent on the Zoom, and we have it recorded so you can catch in the recording. And thank you for being a partner, Rabbi Feigenbaum.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Mrs.
Thank
Goetz was
you.
fantastic.
May everyone be blessed with a good and sweet new year. Thank you. It was a pleasure to meet everybody, and thank you for your feedback. I loved it. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Okay.
Shana Tova.
Sei gesund, sei gebencht. Be
Amen.
healthy.
Amen, amen.
And the
Amen.
greatest part of Zoom is I can mute myself in between the bangs upstairs and the kids. No joking. Okay. Bye
Newest
for now.
book,
See you
Let's
next
Stay
time.
Healthy. My children, Rabbi Goetz just opened a website where they are now selling my books. Let's stay healthy, everybody, in this new year. Good, sweet, healthy new year.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Welcome. Everyone's welcome to stay on until the next couple weeks, but I got to do bedtime, so I love you guys. Mwah, blow
Take
kisses.
care again. Thank you so much for including us in it.
Great to see everybody. Kol tov. I hate hanging up on people, so hang up on me. Don't make me hang up on you. All right. I'll count 5, 4. I got to count down. 3, 2. Bye, everybody.